aim haikuwa kuua, ilikuwa pesa.
And I came here in 2017 January. So I've been there from 2017, if I may say that, all the way to date.
When I went to the mortuary and saw the state of his body, and then the anguish that we had gone through when we were seeking out for his body, I was purpose to get justice for him.
It was a murder whose news spread like bushfire up and down the hills of Murang'a County and beyond. Within no time, the brutal killing of a secondary school principal had galvanized teachers into seeking justice for one of their own.
He was a secretary, Kenya Secondary School Heads Association, Murang'a chapter, by the time of his death.
But little did they know that one among them, a head teacher in a neighboring county, would soon be the prime suspect and ultimately end up in prison. One of the accused murderers entered into a plea bargain agreement with the prosecution and gave a blow-by-blow account of what happened, hence qualifying for a lesser charge of manslaughter.
Aliniwekea pesa, nikaona message. Pesa imeingia but ikafurutwa. Ndio sasa nikajiuliza, ndio nimeenda jela, zile hela zilienda. Ndio nikaamua kuongea ukweli wangu.
This is the story of the brutal killing of a high school principal, for which a fellow principal and spouse was found guilty and sent to prison. Monday 5 a.m., November 7th, 2016. Solomon Mwangi Mbothi, the then principal of Kiru Boys High School in Murang'a County, failed to turn up to collect Kenya's Certificate of Secondary Education examination papers at Murang'a County Education offices. This triggered panic among his colleagues and education officials.
The secretary plus the vice chair and the treasurer took it upon themselves, with the instruction of the chairman, to call the wife so that they could establish whether Solomon had left the home or where they were staying in Ishashiri Secondary School, or what could have gone wrong to the point of him not appearing at the container.
When the officials reached his wife, Jane Muthoni Mushero, she was equally shocked.
That day, I had also gone to get my exams, and just immediately on resuming back to the office, that's the time around 6, heading to 6 before 7. That's when I received a call from the county director of education from Madioya sub-county, and he was just asking me, Madam Jane, how are you? Kamwambia, fine. Is your husband at home? I said, no, he's not at home. He came yesterday. He traveled yesterday to place of work. Why? Before that is what followed. He told me, no, he's not come to correct his exam. That is why we are wondering whether he's at home. The sixth sense told me, or is not well.
A search was launched.
Immediately we got to know that he had not gone to pick his exam. I personally was perturbed because I knew him. We had related with him and we had become close when I was still a deputy. And we used to talk. So I knew his level of commitment to duty. And I knew there must have been something wrong. So Kisha Murang'a chapter organized searches. And we went to search for him. And by then we believed that he must be somewhere alive, either kidnapped or alive, or something had happened. We even thought of checking with the matatu industry to know whether there had been an accident in between Gatondo and Kereaine.
I know we have many unanswered questions. We may also have very many contradicting stories. But God, who is in heaven, knows where Solomon is even now. And I want to stand and believe with everyone here that Solomon is alive and not dead.
We have a brother, and we do not know where he is. There is nothing as painful as that. I know the programs, the issues that are going around on where he is, but let us believe that wherever our brother is, he's secure and he's safe, and he will come back to us. It's good to let you know that I'm in touch with the security organs. I think almost on an hourly basis. Very much in touch with the county commissioner. Very much in touch with the CID office, with the intelligence, and also with other higher circles dealing with security. We are looking for all clues that could lead us to where our brother Solomon is, and I know we're going to find him.
Four days after his disappearance, Mwangi's body was discovered on November 11, 2016 by a farmhand Mukabi Karanja at Karakuta Coffee Estate in Juja, Kiambu County. The body had no shoes and was covered with 3 gunny bags. A rope was tied around the neck and tethered to a tree. This was nearly 100 meters from Kenyatta Road.
I was called by a police officer from somewhere, Junja, and he told me that they had collected the body of a well-dressed male, as per him, a well-dressed male from Karakuta Coffee Factory near Junja, and they had taken the body to City Mortuary. Then a few hours later, just about an hour later, one of my colleagues also called me, confirming that the police had taken a certain body to City Mortuary. And we went to City Mortuary, where it was late. We got to City Mortuary because of the jam and such. We got to City Mortuary around 8 at night. Fortunately, one of the mortuary administrators came and allowed us to go in. There were many bodies in there, but I knew my friend. Like even the way he shaved, I walked straight to where his body was, and I could positively identify him. And even my colleagues, who also knew him very well, could positively identify his body. That is how eventually we confirmed that he was dead.
Preliminary police investigations pointed towards Muthoni, the then head teacher at Shashiri Gauzi Secondary School in Gatundu, Kiambu County, as the potential mastermind of her husband's killing.
The person involved is suspected his wife, who dropped this principal. She says she dropped him on Sunday. She dropped him at 3 p.m. at Witevi. You know, Witevi is just next to that plantation. It appears like there were fellows waiting for him at Witevi. So it was like she was simply handing over these people to this person to them to say, Fanyeni, like we had agreed.
It was on 13th of November 2016. It was on a Sunday. And note that we had the case that now have brought me here. We have been looking for my husband who disappeared for 1 whole week. So we had searched for him for that 1 whole week since Monday 7th of November 2016 all the way to even that Sunday around 8 p.m. The CID from Muranga came, and they didn't even tell me they're arresting me. No, they just told me that I'm required to go to Muranga for county CID office, because they were saying that the county CID wants to talk to me, wants to interrogate me on issues to do with the disappearance of my husband. Just like a normal person, I left. You know, I didn't have any maybe suspicious. I was not suspicious of anything. I was just anxious because I wanted to know exactly what are they doing to look at my husband, what development has come up, and also I was ready to give them information because you remember that whole week, if you're keen in listening to this case, that whole week I was the one who was helping them in the investigation. So I was able to continue giving them information so that we can be able to find my husband. As I said, nobody told me that he had already been found murdered and already dead. So when we arrived at Moranga, that was around 10 p.m. because they came at 8. So around 10 p.m. that's the time we arrived at Moranga CID office, but I was not taken to the CID. I was taken to the police station. And that's the time I asked the CID who were with me, you're telling me I'm required by the county CID? Yes, but this is the police station. And they told me that no, he has requested us to bring you here so that you can wait for him. And I got inside the OB, and later they took me to the cells. That's the time now it clicked to my mind something is not happening. And I want you to remember during that time, I was not sober enough, because you can imagine you're looking for a husband who has been lost all through, and you're here alone. It was traumatizing, by the way. So even that coordination to be very swift to know exactly what they were doing, I think they took advantage of that confusion that I was going through. So when they took me to the cells, I remember the lady CID who was with me. I asked her exactly, this is a cell, I can see women cells, and what is this got to do with the CID? And she told me, Jane, I'm sorry.
When a murder happens in a family, a spouse has died, the obvious automatic suspect is the other spouse. Let me tell you, it just requires some very true manipulation of evidence, kidogo sana, this and that, to put the person in the murder scene. Very true, and some wise, of course, very sinister way of doing it. And I can assure you that spouse is done, it's finished. Because how would you remove yourself from there?
The detectives formed the opinion that Muthoni hired hitmen Nelson Jiro Magati, Joseph Kariuki Njuguna, popularly known as Karis, and Isaac Nganga, alias Gikuyu, to eliminate her husband.
Kusikwa kwangu kulikuwa ni kazi ngumu sana serikali ilifanya. Kwa sababu mara ya kwanza wasaa kuja mpaka mahali nilikuwa na deputy OCS, alikuwa anaitwa wakili wa Kibichoi Police Post. Kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa najua hii Kongoli, na waona vile wanakuja, kili akakosea akaniambia simama. Mimi nikajipa shughuli, kapiga risasi hapo, akanikibisa, hakuniweza. Makosa yenye nilifanya ni moja tu. Nikaenda mahali kunaitwa Kamakis, nikanunua simu ingine, nikaregister line, na ninaregister line na the details yenye nimeregister hizi zingine, na kwa hivyo serikali inaniona tu. Okay, nikiwa pale Kamakis kukula kidogo, kasimu ikafurasiwa, haina namba. Nikaona hii inafuatwa tu, nikaacha hapo kwa meza. Tulipitana na serikali kwa mlango, sikusikia. Kaenda tena nikanunua ingine, nikaregister na the same ID. Nilikuwa nakaa pale Mulera hapo Ngoma Tupu kwa Kole hapo hivyo juu. Nikaweka karaini, nikaweka simu on, kumbe nafuatwa. Nikiregister tu ina reflect kwao. Watu walinitoa kuko Mulera, nikapelekwa mpaka zile police station. Nilipelekwa Rara hapa, Amuka, Twende, sijui ni gani, isipokuwa tu moja nilijua inaitwa The Degua. Hizo zingine zote sijui.
The probe indicated that Muthoni delivered her husband to his killers after she sedated him using a drug normally used by veterinary practitioners to sedate animals. What informed suspicion on Muthoni's role in the murder was that she had expressed disenchantment that her husband was involved in a romantic relationship with a woman identified as MWK or M-Pesa Lady.
The prosecution tried to learn the motive of a love triangle, which The M-Pesa lead. You look at the evidence, it all discredits itself, self-discredit. It doesn't get anywhere. All right? That witness came and I think she talked what was the truth in her heart. Among other things, because I did ask her, were you friends? Were you lovers? No, they're not. This is a witness, a person herself saying, we are not lovers. And she has been brought to court, she has said as much. Then how does the court come and try to bring the issue that they must have been loved? But the witness herself has said no.
Muthoni's plan was to have the 27-year-old shop attendant killed and then Mwangi, her husband, eliminated. The breakthrough for the detectives came shortly after Muthoni, Ng'ang'a and Kariuki were formally charged with murder before High Court Judge Joel Ngoge sitting in Kiambu.
It's possible for them to mount their defense most effectively.
Interestingly, the principal suspect, Njiro Magati, disappeared without a trace after Mwangi's murder. Kariuki promptly accepted a plea bargain agreement with the prosecution in which he pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter and agreed to testify against Muthoni and Ng'ang'a.
When Karis agreed to become a state witness, he corroborated with the DCI. It is him who made us aware that that was the third attempt. That weekend, the eventual successful attempt was not the first attempt. 6 months before, he had been instructed to carry or to ferry Solomon in a taxi and then just go and kill him afar off from civilization or from people. But when they got to Gatondo town, something came into him and he told Solomon to just get out of the taxi.
Sababu kwa akili zangu asikuwa ule mzee ule. Akili zangu silikuwa abaki tukula kule pesa.
The self-confessed accomplice who was jailed for 7 years on the 9th of March 2017 has since been released after serving his term in prison.
After kuwa state witness, kesi ikafanywa yangu ikawa tu ikaisha mapema kwa sababu hili faili sasa zimekuwa mbili. Kesi yangu imetelemuka from murder to manslaughter. Ikafanywa kwa muda hakuna, ikaisha na nikafungwa miaka 7. Nilifungwa miaka 7 sababu gani? Nilikuwa na knowledge ule msee anaenda kuuliwa, but si ku save life yake. Juu ningeenda polisi ni ripoti msee fulani anataka kuuliwa.
A party in a criminal case, the accused in a criminal matter, is free to enter into any plea bargain with the prosecution. All right. Basically, you can actually, the accused can initiate the process or even the prosecution. The party can fail well. I've been accused on this matter, but I have important information I can give to the prosecution in exchange of something. That's lawful. It's not like a bribery. At times you find like, it's not bribery, like bribing him. No, it's allowed. It's a legal tool that the prosecution have to improve their case. Now, and there was nothing wrong with what Karis did, legally speaking. What was wrong was that, not just wrong, I believe it, I used a stronger word, it was a tragedy. That the trial court, the same trial court was the one that was used to do the pre-bargain proceedings. Because a pre-bargain proceedings are a trial by itself, where an accused person has offered to do ABC, maybe confess to an offense, and say that it happened, we were with so and so, this or whatever. That's what happened. Now the tragedy comes in because once an accused person has entered that kind of an arrangement, they literally make a confession of what they believe they did. which confession could also be a lie. You know, somebody can confess for whatever reason. Money paid to them. I'm not saying money was paid, but I'm saying ideally somebody can do it for that. Now, and that's okay. If that matter is to be judged on its merit, that's there. What is wrong is now to use that same judge who has had this plea bargain in a substantive trial involving other people. Because that's what happened. That's a tragedy that happened in this case.
Your Lordship, we submit that though this statement has not been tested in court, the accused person is aware of the role he played.
The prosecution, conducted by Senior State Attorney Catherine Mwaniki, called 21 witnesses and sought to prove its case through a combination of direct evidence and circumstantial evidence. Kariuki gave a blow-by-blow account of Muthoni's scheme, culminating in Mwangi's murder.
Mara ya kwanza ikaingia 75, within no time ikaingia 75. Hii 75 ni baada ya ule mzee ukuaga. But hizi zingine hapa hivi, hizi kwa katikati ya mission tulikuwa tunalipwa kasi. Unaenda unachapwa 50, 60k kulingana na chenye huyo mwalimu ako nayo kwa mfuko.
And the things he was telling the court, I was like looking at him and I was not scared, but I was listening to things that were just amusing and like, really? Okay, yes, you're saying that I gave you money. What money? Which money? And if I ever give you that, I mean, you're saying that I didn't give it, I gave you one, he was saying that I gave him 100, he had bargained at 400. And now he's telling the court, I gave him money. Okay, and I was telling Wakili, let him give the production, let him produce the evidence of that 100,000 shillings that he's talking about. Now he's talking that he was given, there's no evidence. He was saying that there was 300,000 shillings that was remaining. These are some of the facts that I'm telling you that were making me ask the court. I wish the court now can also go to the evidential evidence that is being given here. There's no money. And let's assume this one. You pay me, you promise me that you're going to pay me for a job done, or a criminal act for that matter, for a criminal act. And then I go ahead and kill someone. Am I supposed to keep quiet? I need to show that I tried contacting you. I need to show that there was a threat, there was communication, or there was something like that. And imagine, since that time you say that I paid him, and I was to pay him the 300,000 shillings, you do nothing. You try to do nothing. So why would you do nothing if you feel that somebody owes you money? You get the point? So if the stories he was giving were contradictory of the facts.
The killing of Mwangi had initially been slated for Friday, November 4th, 2016. On the material day, Muthoni sneaked Ngang and Kariuki into the compound of Mwangi's official residence within Kiru Boys High School. The two would remain in the car while she administered a sedative drug on her suspecting husband to stupefy and weaken him.
Pale Kill Boys ilikuwa mpango ya ule mzee aende amalisiwe kwa shule. Tulikuwa tumetoka huku na taksi tukiwa watu 4. Tukafika hoteli inaitwa Texas, tukakula, then tukaenda kasi. Pale tukiwa Kill Boys, nikaambia, okay, pale Kill Boys tuliingia tukiwa watu 3. Mimi na kisti yangu na wife yake. Tukiwa pale ndani, wakaingia ndani, tukaachwa kwa ngari. But nikaambia huyu mjamaa au kwa kisti, tuachane na hiyo na hiyo. Wacha tuyairishe mpaka siku ingi, tukula kule hii pesa, huyu mama ako na pesa. Na ikawa ni hivyo, masaa imesonga, ule mama akawa tu anakuja kwa ngali kutuangalia, akawa akona tablet inaitwa mchere, akamwekea, akakuja akasema imeona sijui juisi imechafuka na hiyo mchere, akatuambia wacha tafute plan nyingine.
The drugging plot failed and the two men were driven out of the school compound and left in Murang'a County in the dead of the night.
The spouse pretended that she was going to go and get some food at midnight or at 1, Kereine town. And that was a ploy to get them out of Keru Secondary School.
2 days later, that is on Sunday, November 6, 2016, Kariuki said he received another call from Jiro telling him that there was some urgent work to be done. Jiro told him to go to Kenyatta Road, and he complied. Muthoni reportedly called Kariuki and instructed him to meet her at Oredi plots in Darugo. Shortly thereafter, Muthoni drove to the venue with her husband seated in the front passenger seat.
Kube alikuwa amewekewa dawa ya mnanda. Mzee kumwangalia hivi, unaona yenyewe huyu mzee yuko form. Kuna kakitu inamsubua. Anachukua koti, anaweka chini, anarudisha tena.
In the meantime, Nganga arrived and together with Kariuki, they got into the back seat of the car and were driven to Karakuta Coffee Estate.
Katuweka kwa gari tukiwa sasa watu 4, mimi na kwa Kristi na yeye ndiye dereva na bwana yake. Ati tunakuja kuangalia masamba, sijui masaba mahali sinauswa ulithi. Kuna mahali ulithi imenunua hapo Ndarugo. Twende tukamalize hiyo kasi.
He is intoxicated and he's seated in the front seat of his vehicle and the spouse is driving. Then behind him are the 2 murderers. And the one who has been called to come and accomplish that job eventually put a rope on his neck.
Here they removed the highly intoxicated Mwangi and killed him.
Kube si kuwa nimelijua ati accused yangu asaongezewa 150,000 na akonasa kwa mfu kuingia kwa kichaka alienda kama amemalizia.
This is why the principal of Kiru Boys High School was missing in action the following day Monday, when his counterparts from other schools were collecting KCSE examination papers at dawn. In his judgment delivered in Nakuru on April 22, 2021, Justice Ngowi convicted Muthoni and Nganga and dismissed their defense as incredible.
What happened is that the judge, when I gave my defense, remember I also had an co-accused. When we gave our defense of the truth of the fact of the matters that were on the ground, the judge said very clearly that there is your side is so contrary, the defense story is so contrary to the prosecution, and the prosecution story is based on this pre-agreement gentleman, or the, I can say, self-induced, he was saying an accomplice, who was not an accomplice anyway. And he said that for me to choose between the two, I opt to go by the story of Caris. Okay, I was not expecting that, but when he began to read his statement, his judgment, the first few sentences when he made, and he made the last conclusion, he said, we are here, I'm supposed to be evaluating whether the accomplice, that is Caris, is a credible witness. And having evaluated, I find him credible. That was all. I didn't have to listen to anything else. Automatically, I knew what he was intending to do. So it was not easy. It was a shock anyway. Having tuned to my mind, my children were waiting for me.
On 3rd June 2021, Justice Ngowi sentenced Muthoni and Nganga to 30 years in prison.
What emerges from the evidence is one of a depraved and vengeful spouse, not an accidental killer who poorly responded spontaneously to immediate circumstances. Both the accused persons had many opportunities to walk back from their heinous plans, and with each opportunity, they chose the path of death. Consequently, in my view, a fit sentence that properly balances the mitigating circumstances with the aggravating circumstances is a sentence of 30 years imprisonment for each of the 2 accused persons. And I, accordingly, sentence each of the accused persons to that period.
I told God I won't expect anything. because it was tough. The case was big as per the publicity and the fact that Karis and his pre-bargain issue. So I was telling God I'm an open book. Anything. I was expecting anything. I want to be very open. I was expecting anything. But my prayer was, God, I want to see you. Let me see what you have for me.
When somebody has murdered and it is proven beyond any reasonable doubt that this person has killed, this person has murdered, and then you jail him or you jail her for 30 years, it's like a slap on the wrist.
I can talk about the children. You know, most of us all of us here are mothers, and some others in other prisons are fathers. I want to talk to the children. Precisely start with my children. And I said that, always remember that very soon, it doesn't matter when, but very soon you are going to join your children. And on top of that, please take care of yourselves. We have seen children who get out of way because their parents are here. They get lost because their parents are here. They lose hope because their parents are in prison. And they live a miserable life. But I want to just tell you that you have a better life. It doesn't matter whether your parent is there. We are praying for you. And you can be a good example to the rest of the world.
The journey to justice for Solomon Mwangi Mbuthi took 5 years, long or short, depending on what side of this criminal case one belonged to. For crime and justice, I am Gashoka Kingori.